Hello and good morning. I'm Jared Royster, Chief Operating Officer for your YMCA. Thanks for showing up this morning and hope you're ready to show up and show out because it's that time of year again, our favorite time of year. The warmer weather is here, leaves are turning green. Hopefully, there's going to be less rain. And guess what? It's time for the Y's annual campaign. You see how that rhymed? Over the course of the next 8 weeks, I'm going to give you permission to be loud and to be proud. Proud of your YMCA that we serve more than 80,000 children annually in our pipeline of services. Sure, that they are on a pathway to success, and that's our commitment to bright futures. We're going to be proud that we serve more than 60,000 adults and families to support them on their journey for improved well being. And that's how we improve community health. And we're going to be proud that we have delivered more than 15 million meals to children and families as we are committed to end hunger. And we're going to be proud that we provide adults with job training, ESL classes, and GED classes so that they can find meaningful employment. And that's how we fight family and economic instability. Let's be proud of what we've accomplished. Let's tell all of our family and friends as together over the course of the next 8 weeks, we commit to raising $2.4 million. That's right, $2.4 million. And I challenge every board to ensure that first they achieve 100% giving as before they go talk to their family and friends. And let's make sure you talk to as many of your family and friends as possible and your colleagues because people want to find reasons to give. So let's help them give to our YMCA. Can't wait to see you at our celebration, and I hope you turn it up. I hope you turn it out, and I hope you're going to be loud and real proud. Let's go get them.
Who we are out in the community is also a reflection of who we are on the inside, um, and that every person has a right, to show up each and every day as their whole and authentic self, and be seen and heard and respected. And I think we're treated with dignity and respect, and with that, we foster engagement. There's higher productivity. People are valued and committed, and that same commitment that we show in our communities is the commitment, of who we are as an organization inside, and I think that's commendable.
One of the beautiful things about the Y and our work with youth of all ages, as Ali said, birth to career, whether it's employment, after school, or early education, is that when the world is hard, when home is hard, when school is hard, the Y is consistently the safe, enriching place. And it's a place where all kids can be and be their true selves. And I think there's really something special about that. And that's about equity, that's about access, that's about what we provide, it's caring adults. But at the end of the day, like, we are always that safe space in the community.
So there is no organization better suited than the Y to support and change the health of the Boston community. We reach the young, the old, individuals, families, those with medical conditions, those looking to prevent medical conditions. And we're innovating and broadening our approach so that we can provide access to more.
One of the things that Wendy and her team do that makes me really proud of the hunger work is in addition to providing meals to people who need them, they really go above and beyond to make sure that those meals are nutritious and culturally appropriate.
Yeah.
We all need food, but we need nutritious food, and we don't all want the exact same food. So I think that's terrific, and it's a way that we demand equity in the communities that we serve, and it's a very, it's very intentional in the way that we go about doing it.
I am also very pleased with our programs that help new Americans with our English language programs as well as our workforce development. I think that having a place that is welcoming and understands your culture and trying to help you advance and be stable is really important. And I think that I'm very proud of the work we do in that area as well.
I wanted to fundraise for the marathon through the Y, because it's always been a place that's really dear to my heart. And one of the first times when I had contact with the Y was when I had a 3-year-old child and enrolled him into Scamper Camp. And I loved the feeling when I walked in the door. My son was so well taken care of, and they had swimming. It was just one of the great programs, rain or shine, which also mattered. And we also, at that time, came into contact with a child who had some special needs, who became my son's best friend. It's a little boy who he has Down syndrome, and he and Kennedy, to this day, my son Kennedy, are best friends. I loved the Y was just there to meet us exactly where we were. And throughout the years, that tradition's been in our family. That son of mine went on to do the swim team for the Y, while his younger brother, who was just an infant, would sit on the sides with me. Everyone was so easygoing. They let my little son wear a bubble just to keep him busy while the swimmers were doing their thing. And through the years, that vibe of just meeting people where they are has remained with the Y. So when it came time for me to fulfill a lifelong dream, which was running the Boston Marathon, I had still been a part of the Y, this time with a daughter we adopted from foster care. And she came to us with a lot of trauma, and she was worried about learning how to swim, let alone joining a swim team. And she was able to achieve both through the Y swim team program in the middle of the pandemic, no less, and keeping everything safe. So we were just so thrilled. We didn't know how she would be without supports in place. And she did great on the swim team, as did her younger brother. So it feels like just every child had such a special experience with the Y. They get kids from all different backgrounds, from different cultures, from different walks of life. I feel like if you want a doctor, a lawyer, or an accountant, you want somebody who knows how to handle your discrete issues. And that was the Y for us. Whichever child we walked in with, we were greeted with a smile and people asking what we could do to help. And when my daughter from foster care, when her adoption was finalized, it was the woman behind the desk at our YMCA who gave us a hug, said it brought tears to her eyes. It makes me feel teary-eyed just thinking about it. So the fundraising for what we experienced there and for what so many others experience outside of my universe, it just felt like a no-brainer for us. It's always been a place that I really admired the work that was taking place. Even before I had kids, I'd see and hear about the after-school programs, reaching out to kids from so many different backgrounds, the outreach, just helping families in need who needed it the most. And there have been people, friends, family, friends of ours who'd fallen on hard times and needed some of the recovery outlets and programs the Y offers. So it's a place where I think of it as a home away from home, even though through the children, we've really been able to access it. I just love, beyond my family, the values the Y has and what they bring. What I felt like with the Y, I mean, you can go to so many places to get an experience for your child that you might want, but I feel like the Y was just the kindest approach for us. They didn't know she had so many supports in school and so many supports outside of school. The two coaches on the team would really just meet her needs. If she needed to take a break, if she needed to end the laps early, they would help her to do that. It was just from a value-driven perspective, exactly what we wanted. And to get such great quality, to get people who say, Allie, I see you're feeling hurt. Let's get you out and get a Band-Aid. And knowing that they care, even though there's so many other kids on that team, just taking that specialized approach, it made me so happy to sit there and watch. And I love, love, love that the Y is a place where you can be you. And maybe that you is imperfect, maybe that you is getting through some challenges, but I feel like the people I've met at the Y, yes, they care, but more than care, they're equipped to meet kiddos like mine who might be trickier, having a rough day, but also share those high fives on the good days too.
Hi, my name is Kathleen Ryan. I've worked with the Y for over 24 and a half years, and currently I am the membership director here at the Parkway Community Y. I've been in membership for maybe 20 years in 97 and Child Watch, and then kind of moved on to actually summer camp. And then I did leave to go off to college. Came back because I became pregnant, and I came back to the Y, and I started working in our daycare center part-time while pregnant. And this is when I realized the Y was a big impact of my life, because that's when I created family and I needed people there by my side, as I ended up being a single mother, and then took on some more responsibilities with the Y and started working in the membership department part-time evenings, as when I worked over at the daycare during the daytime, I'd come here some nights and work at night for the desk. And that's when I realized how important the Y was to everyone's lives, the impact that it has. And I was then asked to help out with the annual fund. And again, being 21, 22 years old, not knowing kind of really what annual fund was or the impact that the Y really had on people's lives, I realized that when I had my child, I had to put him in daycare, and I needed help from the Y to get some financial aid to support me putting her in daycare. And that's when I started sharing my stories with my fellow coworkers, and just to get our staff members to help and donate back to the Y and work for the cause that they work for, and show the impact that it really helped me, someone that they're close with, that it helped me. So I hoped during that time frame, I opened a lot of employees' eyes to show them really kind of what the Y really was about, because that's when we were really starting to work hard on getting our word out about the support we give to our community, not just employees. I mean, again, I think it was, with the financial aid part for me, it was more like, let's say Elizabeth, our business manager back then, she was just like, well, we can help you, we can figure it out, and we'll get you financial aid. And that's how it happened. So, but it was at that moment, I really didn't know that where the money actually really came from until I got involved in the annual fund. And then that's when I shared my story with the staff here, saying how impactful their donations would be, because it helps many people, but it was helping me out at that time frame of being able to send my daughter to daycare so I could work and go to school part-time. I needed people, I needed family. Like, I built family here. Like, I just can't really the employees here, some that are still here were a big part of my life, others that aren't. They were just always supportive and would, do anything they could for me. And then, as I worked more in membership, I've learned a lot about members and connected deeply with a lot of the members here. This is umpteen years later, but I'll go from when I started working at the Y. But when I lost my sister 7 years ago, and so many members appeared at my sister's wake, it's just like this community here, we just really built something strong. And I just can't be more thankful for the Y for being part of my life, because they've been there between staff and between members through all the tough times of my life, and they continue to be. So the Y that way with members and staff has influenced me to continue to spread the word about what the Y does in my community that I live in and I work in. And I know it helps many walks of lives, from a single parent that needs the childcare to a family that I have a connection with that came to me, I don't know, 15 years ago, and they really wanted to join the Y and they just couldn't afford it. And I shared the annual fund with them and they were able to join. And I watched her son grow and change, and she was very unhealthy, but became healthy by working out and being part of the Y. And recently, maybe a couple of years ago, she just said, I would have never been able to be to the Y or my son without hearing from you that there was financial aid that you have through annual fund. So it's just a very impactful moment of my life with this family, because when her son went off to Pennsylvania, he had to come in to make sure to say bye to me and thank me for being part of, for me and the Y being part of his life to help him grow and be here for him. So it just all walks of life, but that was one story that really impacted me and made me realize my story was important, as well as sharing someone else's story, how impactful it was for them. I just see so many seniors come in here that need financial aid and need the Y to just keep them going and keep them healthy, whether it's just for them socializing or to actually work out. But there's just so many different reasons. Hi, I'm Kathleen Ryan, and I found connection through the Y.
So on March 13th, when the mayor announced the closing of the Boston Public Schools until April 27th, we knew that that meant something to us as an organization. The Y of Greater Boston, like many other Ys across the country, we become that place where children go when the schools are closed. When there's a snow day, schools are closed, kids come to us. When there's a school vacation, whether it's spring break or summer vacation, children come to us. And why? Because their parents have to work. And they need a place where they know that their children were going to be loved and nurtured, and we have the honor of being one of those places where children go. So with the closure of school, we knew that there would be this incredible need for that support. And so we, at that point, decided that we were going to close our YMCA branches for wellness and aquatics and open them up to provide the care to the children and families who would need that service. We also knew that hunger was going to become a challenge, because think about it. Children get 2 meals at school. They get breakfast and lunch at school. With the closure of schools, our thinking was those meals might go away, but the hunger was not going to go away. And so we decided to provide meals to the children who would be in our care, and also to figure out how we might make additional meals available to the community because we knew that that need would exist. And so we began to put our heads together, and we've got an incredible leadership team here at the Y of Greater Boston, and we came up with some strategies. And by the way, what we really did was we doubled down on some existing strategies. Remember, we'd always been the provider of before and after school care, so now we're providing emergency child care to the same kids. We'd always been a provider of meals. In 2019, we delivered 837,000 meals in Greater Boston. What we did was doubled down on those strategies in order to meet the needs that were being caused by the pandemic.
And so how many meals?
We went from serving 540,000 meals in 2018 to 837,000 meals in 2019 to 4.6 million meals in 2020. Doesn't happen by accident. It happens because, we're partnering with other organizations who love the city and love the residents and love the children and love the seniors of this community as much as we do. I mean, you could probably tell from my response right now, it's very emotional to be a part of that kind of work. It feels like it's just exactly what we should be doing. And it makes me very proud to be a part of an organization that is not afraid to do the hardest work that must be done, and to be a part of a team that stepped up and was bold and courageous in a time where we needed to be bold and courageous in service to others. It's very humbling. Now, I'll share with you that in my own life, I grew up poor. I'm here because I know what it feels like to live in poverty. I know what the threat of hunger feels like. I know what the embarrassment of needing food feels like. And so the work we do today is exactly the work that we should be doing. I can't imagine doing anything else. I just wish I could do it better.
Wow, James, that was amazing.
Loud and proud.
Yeah, I know that's right. I know that's right. And it's amazing to me how much impact we have throughout all the work that we do. And just hearing you talk about how impactful food insecurity has been in your life, thank you for being willing to share that story.
Well, you're welcome. We are who our life experiences make us. I think part of the reason why we do this work around hunger prevention today has a lot to do with the fact that we want to make sure that no one goes hungry, that everybody has the food they need, the sustenance that hungry children can't learn, and that it's our responsibility to provide as many meals in Greater Boston as we can. And as Jarrett shared earlier, more than 15 million meals have been served in Greater Boston through us and our partners. That's quite a feat and quite an accomplishment.
It's kind of hard to put that into perspective. Like 15 million meals. Like when I think about that, I'm like, what does that really mean? And first of all, not only what does it mean, like how does an organization like us do that, right? But the reality is we do, and we did, and we will continue to.
Yeah.
I always like the way you kind of talk about that 15 million meals, not only from where we started, but how we even do it now.
Yeah. Well, the commitment that we've made now is to continue to partner with City Fresh Food, right?
Yeah.
So think about that story. It's a minority-owned business. 85% of their employees live in Roxbury and Dorchester. That as a result of this sizable contract with us, they had to lease additional space, hire additional employees, so they grew. And we got the benefit of more prepared meals that were nutritious, culturally competent, and that we could make available to children, seniors, and families. That's an amazing story, right?
That's right.
It's a story of economic enterprise.
That's right. That's right.
And so I'm as proud of the delivery of 15 million meals as I am of that partnership, because nothing that we do in the Y of Greater Boston is done by us alone. It's always done in partnership with other organizations. And we've been so blessed to be in a community where there's so many just incredibly amazing organizations that we can partner with.
That's right, and they want to partner with us, right? That want to see us be able to serve our communities in the way that we do and help them do what they're trying to do. And that's why this is such an important time for us. That's why right now it's so important for us to be able to get as many of our constituents, as many as our members, and many as our members of our community, our volunteers, to be engaged in our annual campaign, right? That's what we're here for today.
Right.
We're here to try to get as many of you as active and as engaged in our campaign this year. I love the fact that we talk about our campaign as marching into May, right?
Right,
because,
exactly.
Right, because one part of that is, we don't want to do this forever, right? We want to have an infinite, time frame for how we do this campaign, because we know, we want people to be able to focus on other aspects of life, but we know that this time is important for us as an organization.
Well, one of the reasons why we want to have a time frame is because we want to leave time to thank people for their many contributions. And we see those who contribute to our mission and our cause as partners in the work.
That's right.
And for every dollar we raise, that's a dollar of additional service we can provide. As they say, no margin, no mission. And so we are deeply committed to serving as many people as we can, making sure that every child, every family reaches their fullest potential. And we can't do that alone. We need the help of the community. And and we need the help of those in the community who support our work and support us generously. And it's that generosity that enables us to have the kind of impact that we're able to have.
Yeah, you know, I think about it, and I love when you talk about how $1 in the Y can be $8 to $10 to $15, depending on the program or service we're operating. And so our ability to take that dollar and make it so much more and give it so much more impact is really important. And I think it's important for those that are out there on our behalf, you know, helping us to raise the money to understand that. But I also think it's important for us to be able to convey that to those who we're asking to support us.
That's right.
So they understand that they really are making an investment that has an incredible return for our community, a return on impact.
Yeah. So as you have reminded us, it's the multiplier effect.
That's right. That's
right.
That's right.
You know, a dollar investment. You know, we turned it into $10 to $15 of impact, and you know that reminds me of a story, if I could.
Please.
The story of Isabella. And Isabella, I remember sitting next to Isabella, and she had just completed one of our summer learning programs. And Isabella is 6 or 7 years of age, and she had just received a certificate of completion. So she comes back and she sits next to me, and she says, Mr. Morton, can I buy anything with this?
Right.
And I start laughing immediately, like you're laughing. And I said, no, sweetheart, you can't buy anything. But then I thought about it for a couple of seconds, and I said, yes, you won't be able to buy anything today, but in the future you will.
Oh, wow.
Because
Wow.
what she had done is completed a summer learning program, improving her skills in math and literacy,
Yes.
that will then make her a better student, which
That's
then
right.
will create all these opportunities for her to go on to college and you know, have a career. And I said to her, someday you might be the mayor, you could be the president, you could be a doctor or lawyer, you could be anything you want to be.
That's right.
And you started that today, and that's what that
Certificate
represents. So
That's right.
it's investing in the future is part of what we're doing.
That's
and,
right.
and when folks support us, they're supporting Isabella and others that we have the benefit of interacting with on a daily basis.
Yeah, you say the benefit, and I always take it a step farther and say the honor, right?
Totally.
We have the honor of doing this kind of work, and we get the opportunity to do this. Just so often people say, "Oh, I have to do this." No, we actually have the opportunity, the honor to be able to do this work, and we're so fortunate to be able to be in that position. And what I always think about when we're in this point in time where we're out there, you know, asking people to support us and help us raise money. And to donate to us, is that we're giving you an opportunity to also be a part of that.
Absolutely.
We get to give you an opportunity to be a part of this endeavor, to be a part of something bigger than yourselves, to be able to actually truly make a difference in the lives of others because you are supporting the Y. And I think that's an important part of our opportunity today.
Yeah, no, I love that. It's totally an honor to be able to do the work that we do each and every day, and even more of an honor to be able to do it with others who agree with the goals and objectives that we set for ourselves as a community. And so, we're beginning to see ourselves no longer as just a YMCA. We're seeing ourselves as a community-based organization, as a community service organization, and I believe that's making the difference in terms of our ability to have the kinds of impacts that we want. And I mean, think about all the things that we're involved in, right? Community health, community wellness.
That's right.
But we know that community health and wellness starts with the individual, right?
That's right.
So we have to start by creating these opportunities for individuals to come into our YMCA facilities, to be connected with each other, to have that sense of belonging, that they're a part of something bigger than themselves.
That's right.
That's
Absolutely.
creating community, kind of one person at a time. And that's so critically important, because the same thing applies when we're teaching swim lessons. That is that child and that family getting that lesson that might someday save that child's life, and maybe even enable that child to save the life of another person.
Well, we heard that in Kathleen's story,
Right,
right? Because she's talking about the impact that the Y has had on her family,
Right.
And then
That's
you
right.
heard it in Megan talking
Right.
about how being a part of the YMCA's Boston Marathon team,
Right,
and
right.
how that's transformed and become something so much more to her as being a part of the Y.
Right.
I mean, we've had this impact in children and in individuals and in families and therefore communities for our 170 years of existence, and we're going to continue to do that. But what we need is we need for our volunteers to understand that this is their opportunity. This is your opportunity to come out and support the YMCA, not only by making a gift yourself, right, but also by telling the story, by also asking your family, asking your friends, by making that commitment to fundraise during this time period for the YMCA. And we've got a lot of different ways you can do it. Part of it is just making your own asks, and we will help you with that. Part of it is, creating your own fundraising page, which we try to make that as easy as possible for you. And you just go on and you can make this page and really tell your story and then send that out to your family and friends. And then part of it is connecting with those that are in your branch, are in your program and services, that are in your community, and working with them together, right? Like we talked about, in partnership.
That's right.
To help us raise money. It's for a short period of time. It's really only 8 weeks long. And our point there is we're trying to use that short period of time to do exactly what James said, to allow for us to raise the $2.4 million that we're trying to raise during that time period. Not trying, that we're gonna raise during that time period. And then use the rest of the time to be able to thank those and to do the work.
Right.
Quite frankly, to do the work that those resources will allow us to do. And so please, get excited about the campaign. Get yourself set up to fundraising page and connect with your branch and with your leadership team and go out there and talk about the great work. Tell your story of the why. Tell how you found your why. And that in itself will hopefully help us raise the money, the resources we need. Is there anything else you want to say, James?
Yeah, there is, as a matter of fact. Now, remember, someone challenged us to be loud and proud.
That's right.
I think Jared
yes.
Jared said,
we're trying, Jared.
That's right. He said, be loud and proud. So what does that mean? So be proud. Give what you can.
That's right.
To the extent that you can. So you can be proud of what you've given.
That's right.
And be loud about it. Tell others
That's right.
that you've contributed to the Y, that the Y is important to you, and the work that the Y is doing is important to you, and that how you're a partner in that work.
Yes.
So be
Yes.
loud and be proud.
Loud and proud.
Loud and proud.
Love that. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Let's get out there, march into May. This is going to be our time to tell our story. All right? I look forward to seeing you all throughout the campaign. And I forgot something really important. For everyone that raises over $1,000, you get to come to our special event, our Spark event, our annual event. And it's going to be an amazing event this year.
Loud and proud.
That's right. That's right. So hopefully I'll see you all there. Thank you.